Blaire is very honest in a video, so I'm nervous. I have seen little bits of it, I'm going to be honest. I needed to get a sense of what was being said about me. And it's different to what I thought, I'm going to be honest. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman and I share my life stories and opinions on social media. So, I don't normally film on Sundays, but today we're filming something a little bit special, I would say, because I recently featured in a Blaire White video. First things first, Blaire. The thumbnail. Could you have picked a better picture, please? I know part of our job is to make catching thumbnails and it's very eye-catching, but geez, that is a terrible photo of me. But I'll let you off, it's funny, it's okay. For anyone who doesn't know, the context of this video is Blaire's made a video talking about the Supreme Court ruling where in the Equality Act 2010, woman is defined as biological, not trans. So I do want to address the original video that I made on TikTok because there's been a lot said about it. So the video was pulled off YouTube Shorts because the comments were pulling me apart as a person, and like I said before, have the right to do that. It's my content, but it's still very much live on TikTok and Instagram. Blaire's taken it from TikTok. You can see my little TikTok banner in the video. I was very emotionally charged when I made that video, which definitely eliminated some of my critical thinking. So it meant that that went out the window and I was very tunnel visioned on myself, which is not a very good look. And it can come across as a little bit selfish, which I do completely appreciate. Not all of my opinions and views have changed since making that video, because in the UK, we are now starting to see the after effect of the clarification of this law. For example, Barclays are banning trans women from their toilets. How do you know if someone's trans? They get to decide. And also the British Transport Police, male officers will now do strip searches of trans women. This is just some sort of nuanced arguments that I think is a lot more complex to one side or the other. That's why I always try and look at it from both points of view. Anyway, let's get back to why we are all here. Blaire is very honest in a video, so I'm nervous. I have seen little bits of it, I'm going to be honest. I needed to get a sense of what was being said about me. And it's different to what I thought, I'm going to be honest. So let's go.
She seems like a lovely person, so we're not dragging her. I'm definitely not going to drag her.
Right, I've got to pause it there. I know, we will watch it all, I promise. And I might have to keep pausing and stuff. But first things first, my heart sank when I saw myself on that thumbnail. And then to click on the video, I obviously fast forwarded to the bit where Blaire talks about me. That in itself, how do I say it? The level of respect that I feel that Blaire has for me, that is a wonderful feeling, and I have that level of respect for her. We don't always have the same opinions, but this is the difference between Marcus's response and Blaire's response to me. Blaire's gonna have a different opinion to me. Even now, you will all know that her opinion's going to be different to mine, but that immediate level of respect for another human being, that's what I appreciate a lot. Back to it.
What I was thinking about as I watched it is, I think that oftentimes we get very much attached to government confirmation, legal confirmation. And I'm not saying that like I wouldn't be maybe a little shook if this happened at first here as well, just because I know I'm a normal person. And so it's not something that needed to be changed because of me. But we unfortunately have to recognize that there are people in the trans community that they are the cause of this.
Fair. See, this is the thing, right? I respect that opinion, and I'm not disagreeing with everything that Blaire's saying there. So yes, part of the trans community are responsible for where we are. I completely agree with that. And even Blaire said she'd be shook. So I think that speaks volumes, and I appreciate that, because in that moment when I was myself was shook when this happened, and I made the video where I was crying, I appreciate her sort of almost coming to my defense there. But again, her opinion's different, but it's a conversation about a really important issue. It's an open conversation with dialogue back and forth. It's not just making me the villain like other people have done.
I thought you were a part of the rational transsexual community, the very small community on YouTube, but apparently I was wrong.
Making me the enemy, making me look like a woke crazy, which some people have done. So I appreciate that. So let's continue.
And what I mean by that, as far as getting just overly attached to legalistic aspects, is like the government could never tell me who I am. The government won't even tell you who it is. There's nothing about my spirit, nothing about my soul, nothing about my existence as a sovereign human being on this planet, on this rock, floating through space, in this realm. Nothing would be changed based on how a government views me. And also, I think
I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit. So I get where Blaire's coming from. I think what she's pointing out here is that I was really heartbroken by this ruling, and that made it come across like I'd view myself different, and I viewed myself as just a man, only a man. And I get where she's coming from. She's saying she knows who she is and she knows what she's about. I do appreciate that. And now in hindsight, I do see that about myself. And I'm confident in who I am, and I love who I am. I think that's a really good thing, and it's taken me a long time to be able to say that. The only part where I'm slightly disagreeing is the government have power to affect change. We're already seeing here is those changes slowly trickling in. So I can feel a certain way about myself, but as the government changes things, and yes, the rights of the crazies are getting taken away, and it's to protect women, but then also the rights of genuine trans women are getting taken away, and that's the difference here. But again, I respect where she's coming from.
And I do disagree with her that this wouldn't, she made a statement that this isn't going to protect women. I think it will, hon. I think it will. Not from you, because I can tell, you can just tell someone's spirit just even through a screen sometimes. And this is a very nice person who would never be a problem for anybody. But we just watched 2 videos of people who their existence is summed up by the fact that they are the walking embodiment of a problem. Like, they were most definitely not supposed to be legally classified as women. And so I actually do think this is going to help women. Sometimes you have to bring things down to perspective. And in my opinion, a letter on an ID that never is seen anyways, right? Like, no one even who sees your gender marker. I guess if you're like going into clubs, a bouncer at a club, but like, I remember having an M for a while at the very start of mine, and like, they're not zooming in on what letter the M or F is, like in the corner. Like, it's just not as big of a deal as I think people are making it out to be.
What I will say here is, I know with politics and a lot of sort of trans issues within politics is you fall on one side or the other. I genuinely just try and stay neutral and then have my opinion on top of that. And sometimes my opinion will lean one way and sometimes it'll lean the other way. It's just how it is. And I know that doesn't always win me favour with everyone. Some people love that, some people hate that. And now the ruling is in place. Obviously, I have my feelings on it. What I will say is I hope it does make women safer. I genuinely, hand on heart, 100%, bottom of my soul, I hope it makes women safer. That's what I really hope comes out of this. The worries and concerns that I have about it, we'll see in time. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be proved wrong. I genuinely will, but we just don't know at this moment. All I can see right now is how it's potentially negatively affecting trans women and possibly putting trans women in more danger. And I do have to think about that because, like Blaire said, yes, it's just an M on the passport or ID, and we're not there yet. My passport and ID still have an F on. But if we do go that way, I personally believe that it can put us in danger. If we're in the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong person sees that M on my ID, going through customs and passport control in certain countries where it's illegal to be trans, obviously then you are choosing to go to that country, which I do understand. But I think that could then pose another conversation. That's all I'm saying here. But again, that's basically the sum up of what Blaire had to say about me. It was a very sweet response to me to disagree with me. And this is what I always would like to encourage and try to do, is that when I don't always agree with people, to have this conversation, because I can see how someone could agree with both points of this, if you know what I mean. I hope it goes to show that this just proves that you can have different opinions to people on certain things, and then like me and Blaire, we'll probably agree on a lot of things as well. But having that conversation is so much more valuable, and I think a lot more is accomplished from that than when certain people have tried to drag me down because one of my opinions is different to theirs. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. One thing that I think is super interesting with the Marcus thing that happened recently, if you saw, Marcus made a video about me where he disagreed with me. I completely respect that, his own opinion. But what I was trying to explain in that video, a space was created in that comment section to talk about me. It wasn't necessarily talking about the political views, it was just tearing me apart as a human, most of it. I've then gone through Blaire's comment section, and yes, people do disagree with me, but it's not tearing me apart as a human. It also was a lot of people coming to support me, which is very lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. There were so many comments like, I was so worried when I saw Alexis on the thumbnail, please don't drag her. Let's read a couple before we go. I hope you don't drag Alexis too hard, girl. Edit. Okay, never mind. That was actually very sweet. 767 likes. Thank you, Blaire, for being so kind and understanding in your view about Alexis. Everyone else dragged her and she is the sweetest. Thank you. Honest, most harmless person ever. I actually respect you even more for not piling on her like others have. 378 likes. I appreciate that as well. So this is what I mean. Open conversation. That's what I always want to have. So I'd like to thank you, Blaire, if you ever see this. Thank you for having that open conversation with me about this really important issue. I do appreciate it. here. Like always, if you disagree with some of the things I said in this video, that's great. That's normal. It's healthy. It's human. Let's have a conversation in the comments below, and always try and learn. And I read as many comments as I can, and I always try and expand my knowledge as much as possible, especially before talking about it on here. Blaire, if you ever see this, we need to do a collab. So many people ask me to see a collab. I can't make that happen. That's going to be down to you, girl. So if you want to do a collab, let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you did enjoy this video, I make 1 to 2 videos every week, and then me and my partner Liam have the Blake Debate podcast as well. If you want to see a collab between me and Blaire below where we can have lots of conversations about these sorts of things, please comment below and tag us so she might see it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Bye.